Hello there. Yeah, I got some time to kill, and I got like a different venue because I'm sitting out in the living room, which I usually do not do. But yeah, I just informed my landlord about the roach problem. That's the first thing I did this morning when I came out to get my cup of coffee, is to kill a roach on my bathroom counter. I just paid my brother $100 to come in here and clean this place up because on the second I have to have somebody come in here and evaluate me to see, um, I guess, if I need a scooter, what kind of mobility scooter I would need. But I guess to get one of those to where it's getting paid for, you have to show that you need one in the home. So I had to like clear it, change my whole living room around to make like, just this wide expanse where I'd have a wide turning angle. And I had to do a bunch of cleaning, so my brother needs money, so, you know, he says he was here for 8 hours, so I paid him like $100 for 8 hours work. That's like not even minimum wage. He works his ass off, man. He's a worker, but he didn't get everything done. That's how bad this place was. Since I can't walk, I still have stuff to clean it. I still have to clean off this table by the microwave. He said, I forgot I was supposed to clean the microwave, so the microwave is still all dirty and nasty inside. And I have to move a box out of the bathroom that's really got nothing in it but I think dirty clothes or something. I used to throw the cans of cat food in there, but I don't anymore, so I don't even know what's in that box. But my bedroom's completely trashed. So, they're going to want to go through this whole place and see my whole setup. Like, how do you get in bed? How do you do stuff? So I have to clean my bedroom up, clean up all the garbage out of my bedroom. And, then they have to judge what kind of scooter that I need, you know. And it's like, well, it's kind of be tricky because I got a narrow passageway. That's the kitchen area. There's like a counter on one side where my toaster and my coffee maker is. And then there's a sink on the other side, and it's not very wide at all. So, I don't know how this is gonna play out. It would be funny if I ended up getting the same shitty little tiny toy scooter thing that I bought myself for $700. That didn't work. The thing of it is that they probably will make sure it works, and they will probably want to see me on it and teach me how to operate it. So I won't be buying something that I get and put together and it doesn't work. So there's that. But that could take up between 3 and 6 months, you know. Like, so it's like 2 more months of being trapped in this place. But yeah, I texted a bunch of crap to my landlord, and I explained to him that I talked to 3 different people that all come up with the same number, which is a weird coincidence that there's 8 people living up there or above me. 8. And these apartments have like one bedroom, and they're made to be either single occupants or for couples. That wouldn't mind sharing a bed and stuff. So it's like a clown car up there. And there's toys out on the porch for kids. And I know there's a couple of kids living here. I opened the bathroom window like toward nightfall because I get kind of guilty only feeding a cat like once a day. So I wanted to put some cat food out there, and I saw like the Samoan kid and some lady sitting on the abandoned neighbor's deck, which he's been coming around here. Like I said, the guy who moved out during the meth trade, he's been coming around here lately, because I think the city's on him about towing his car or something. So he was out here trying to start his car, and I talked to my other neighbor on the other side. She said she saw him like 2 or 3 times. But I don't know how reliable her word is because I caught her lying once, saying that People were trying to break in my window. The day that I called the police on the people trying to break in the front door, and I'm like, I was sitting there watching. There wasn't nobody trying to break in my window. You know, if they were going to break in my window, that might have been the last thing they ever did at that point, because I still had that machete in the house, which I don't have in the house anymore, because I didn't like the fact that I almost killed somebody with it. The only weapon I have in here now is a hatchet. The only deadly weapon I have in here now is a hatchet. I don't even really have a baseball bat. I said that shit about getting the baseball bat out of the closet. I was just using an example, but I don't even have like a baseball bat or a club. I got like a heavy walking cane, and I got a hatchet. Not for weaponry. Now a hatchet is a deadly weapon. That cane, pretty damn heavy. That could be a deadly weapon too. That's almost a baseball bat. It's a fucking heavy walking stick thing that my niece bought me, probably because she liked it and she likes to spend money. But I don't even know where that is. It probably is in the closet over there. But yeah, I went ahead and I released my book, and I found out like it was like an instant disappointment, because I watched the first part of it, and when I published it, it wiped out all the pictures I had methodically put over top of it. It had a forward and it had an introduction, and it like wiped out all these pictures. I'm going to try to fix that, but you never know which picture is the corrupted picture. But I will put something up instead of like blank space. Like there's a chapter in there that spoilers, thanks author. I don't know why I would even do this. I would never do this as a writer. But the name of the chapter is The Cave Bear. So you know there's going to be a bear in the fucking thing anyway. You know, it would have been nice if you called it like, if you named the chapter like A New Winter Home or something like that, to where the bear would be a surprise, but he puts it right in there like a cave bear. It's like, okay, we're going to have a bear in a cave, and he's probably going to have to do something about that bear. But anyways, I found the perfect picture for that, which was a very pissed off bear coming out of the cave, growling and looking like he wants to kill someone. The problem was that picture had a virus in it, and the program recognized it, and it just like wiped out the whole thing. So it wiped out the whole audio, and it just like wiped it all out. It's like, so I had to start from scratch on that and work that over. It does make me curious why somebody would give me a negative for the book, when it's like the introduction to a book, and then somebody gives me a downvote, and I'm thinking like, the only thing I can figure out is like, people want to hear me talk, which just amazes me. But people want to hear me talk, so when they get an alert saying that I put out a new video and it's not me talking, it's just me reading a book, they're like, downvote. I don't want to hear you read a book. I want to hear you talk your usual line of bullshit. I don't want to hear you talk about your life, because I want to hear about somebody who has a shittier life than me. I got roaches. And roaches if you've ever lived with roaches for any length of time, it's a traumatic experience that can take years to get over. And you're like, well, how can that be a traumatic experience? It's just a bug. They don't really bite. They're just filthy, nasty little bugs. But what happens is like anything that you see, like a speck out of your corner of your eye, becomes a roach. And you're always looking to kill things. And like, it took me, like, I lived with roaches for just like a couple of years, and it took me like a full year not to just like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Ow, I bit my fingernail back. Ow, shit. But you're just like, you see something dark, like, and they're so fast that you got to get them quick. So you're like smacking shadows and stuff. You probably can't see that, but I just bent my thumbnail back painfully because I'm so coordinated. But yeah, I'm waiting for my missed Meals on Wheels shipment right here. That's why I have to sit out here and look out the window. because they rescheduled it, and I was like, they never do that. But my care source manager, um, which I should have the phone in here because I'm not going to be able to make it to the phone if she calls me back. But my care source manager actually called up and said, "Hey, this guy needs his food. Give him his food." Because the last time I missed, um, somehow I missed. It wasn't really my fault. They just didn't deliver it. They were just like, "No, you have to be there. Nobody can be in your stead." No, that's what it was. I scheduled an appointment at the same time as my food delivery was, and I was like, "Can you like leave with my neighbor?" No. Can I put somebody in my house that has my ID to pick it up? No. You have to be there. You have to sign for it. So, that's I missed my shipment that way. So I figured like, I talked to the lady on the phone about it. So I said, so if I'm not there, there's no rescheduling. I called her ahead of time, and I was like, well, I made the mistake of making an appointment at the same time that my food. She's like, you can't reschedule. I guess my care source manager talks to them. They can reschedule. So today is Tuesday. So I'm going to get a shipment of food Tuesday, and I'm going to get my shipment of food Thursday, supposedly, if they show up. Now there's like an 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock window. It's like 20 after 11. But I just put this piece, anyway, to change the subject, I just put this piece of mail out. And they don't give me no time to do anything about this. But I got this super threatening letter, like threatening my medical coverage and threatening my SNAP benefits or my food benefits because they said I have to explain a monthly $505 medical expense. And I'm like, well, that could wipe out my significant SNAP benefits, and they're like threatening my Medicaid over this, and I have no idea what the $505 is for. I call my case manager. She is, of course, on vacation because she only works like 3 days a week. Half the time I call that office, she's like, I'm going to be out of the office from X amount of days to X amount of days, like the April Fool's joke thing. And I'm like, so I called her yesterday, and she was out of the office. I couldn't get a hold of her, but I left her a message, and then she didn't call me back today. And I left her a message again today. Like if she's in charge of like the Medicaid thing. She might know something about this $505 that's threatening my prosperity. Because I get a significant amount of SNAP benefits. And if they take away my Medicaid, I'm fucked. That's gonna, I'm screwed. But somebody's running something out there distracting me. But I got this other thing from Medicaid, like, it says that your Medicaid has been canceled as of 5/31 because your Medicaid is canceled because you have Medicaid already. I'm like, what is it? What kind of like weird twisted logic is this to send me a letter that's saying that? That's the first thing I read on it is your Medicaid has been denied. And I'm like, oh shit. And then you flip it over and it says it's denied because you're already Medicaid eligible. So I'm probably going to make a pointless phone call into Medicaid and say, yo, do I have Medicaid or do I not have Medicaid? And they'll be like, you do have Medicaid. Because I got like 2 separate letters in April saying that my Medicaid was approved, and then like last week I get one saying that's denied because it's approved. So I'm like, what kind of nonsense is this? But the $505 thing is a very serious matter, and the way the mail works now in this area, like it doesn't go directly from my city to this other city in a straight route. It has to go up towards Cleveland, and then it has to go down from Cleveland. So sometimes it used to be like if I sent something in the mail, it would get to this other city in the next day, but it's not like that anymore. So just because of that, I could be that my mail might not reach them in time because it has to reach them by the 2nd. I've been calling EBT about the SNAP benefits, and they keep saying that my benefits are not in yet. And I'm like, well, they're withholding my benefits because they would, they never do that. I always call, like, and I get them on the 5th, so I always call, and they'll be, by now, they'll tell me when my availability is. They say, press number 3 to hear your availability. I'll press number 3, and usually 2 weeks at a time they'll tell me when I'm going to get my benefits. But now, my benefits will be about a week or less away, and I'm getting nothing. They're just saying they have not been released at this time, which leads me to believe that they're withholding my benefits over this $505 that I can't account for, and I have no idea what it's about. Or, they say they have a monthly medical expense of $505, and I'm like, I have no idea what they're even talking about or what that is. So they wanted a handwritten letter from me to either accounting for what that's about, or denying that or saying that I don't have it. So what I wrote them was I've been trying to contact my care source manager because they handle my Medicaid, because it's combined Medicaid, Medicare, and I haven't been able to get a hold of them. I've been investigating the matter. I have no idea what this is, so I can't deny that I have this expense because I don't even know what this is, or what. Basically, I don't know what you're talking about in so many words. So, hopefully that satisfied him, and I was like, I will continue to investigate the matter to the best of my abilities. But I don't know, I've never seen this figure on any form or anything, letter that you've ever sent me. I think, trying to remember, the only time I see anything like that or similar to that is when I get, like, before the first of the year, they send you something telling you if you're going to get a raise for the year, a cost of living raise or whatever. They'll have that listed on there. But been getting all kind of literature from this place, and none of it has that figure on it. And it's like, I don't know where. I don't even remember the number 500. I remember a number like 400 and something from, like, like I said, like before the first of the year, sometime in December, they sent me a letter. But yeah, that's, so I got roaches, and I got like some kind of clerical fuck up that could fuck with my income. Because you take $200 away from someone that's poor, you're taking a lot of money away from. So that's what I stand to lose, is like $200 in food benefits. If it threatens my Medicaid, which I have to call Medicaid tomorrow and talk to them about it, because they're not threatening me until the 2nd of May. They're threatening me till the 31st of May. So I think, regardless, I'm going to call them tomorrow and find out what's what. I already talked to them like in April, and they said everything was cool and I'm all set for the year. But I'm still going to call them and try to figure out what's up. It's like, I got no idea what's going on, and it's like, yeah, I always laugh when people say, like, people like being on welfare, they like being on Social Security, or they like, not having to work. It's like, they don't know what they're talking about, because it's a horrible way to live, to have like your fate in the hands of bureaucracy. If I'm out there digging a ditch for a living, I go out there and I dig a ditch, and people see me digging a ditch, and then they give me money for digging a ditch. If I'm sitting on my ass and I'm just depending on a bureaucracy so that I can eat and have a place to live, that's a passive existence, and nothing is more stressful than being passive. So I always laugh when people say that people want to be on welfare, or they want to be on disability, or they want to sit back and collect government checks and live the easy life. And I gotta tell you something, if this is the easy life, I don't want no part of the hard life, because I got about, I would say 400 very lethal pills in my cupboard, and they're not there. They're not there because I'm a pack rat. So, yeah, this existence isn't a lot of fun. Living like this, where like, besides all the other bullshit that I got going on in my life with, you know, things not panning out at all. When I moved into this city like 9 years ago, I was actually in good enough shape to pedal a bicycle up nearly a mile down the road, get groceries, and then pedal uphill because it's a downhill to get there and it's uphill back. So I'm like at 30 pounds of groceries on a bicycle, pedaling, non-electric bicycle, and I made it home. And you know, I was exhausted, and I'm like, well, I'm not doing this. I got to get some kind of electric bike or something to take care of myself. I can't do this. This is like, I'm sitting there like, this is too hard. I can't do this, because the last place I lived at, nice flat ground, but this has a hill. So that's how good a shape I was in. Now I can't walk across the freaking living room floor without falling. I fell on Saturday when my brother was cleaning the house just because I had to like tell him what to do, and I was walking around a lot and stuff and whatever. And my niece was here, and she made a joke about it because I fell and I landed in the chair. And she was like, good job. And I'm like, good job. I just freaking hit my arm with, this is my torn rotator cuff shoulder. I just hit my arm on the edge of the chair. I mean, that was a real fall. That wasn't like a controlled fall into a chair. If the chair wasn't there, I'm hitting the fucking floor. So, yeah. So moving here has been real good for me. It's gone from me being able to do something that a lot of people that are considered healthy couldn't do, which is pedal a bicycle uphill carrying pounds and pounds of groceries, to not being able to walk and having somebody come in here in 3 days to get me a mobility scooter so I can do the same thing and get groceries. So that's how my last 9 years have been. I'm not sure when it all started. I know that my parents died in 2015, and it's now 2019. So, I was smoking a lot of dope around the time that they died, and was fairly inactive. So it's probably been like a 5-year decline. The benzo thing's been going on for around 3 years now. The knee thing has been going on for about 4 years. I've been having some kind of pain, but at first it was just like a pain in the calf. I was still functional and I wasn't falling down. I really only started to get bad, like, I went fishing like 2 years ago when I got hit by the tornado. I was able to walk a pretty fair distance. I almost tripped and fell when I was walking, but I was able to walk to the pond, and then I was able to walk back to the truck. It just wasn't pretty, but now now I couldn't do that, and that was 2 years ago. So, yeah. So I was just curious about that. Wait, this might be my food. Nope. Just somebody driving real slow. But I was just curious about that. It's like, how would you downvote an audiobook at the beginning of the book where it's not even into the story? It's like, are you disappointed not to see my smiling face and not to hear me talk about horrible shit? Am I more entertaining than a good novel? It's like, I guess I should take that as a compliment. you know. But I was just puzzled by that. I did that before when I put up like things that weren't me just blabbing, where people give me a downvote. They just want to hear me blab. I'm like, I can do that for you. Believe me. I use restraint. Sometimes I restrain myself and only talk for an hour. Sometimes I think 2 hours and 20 minutes is probably my record. But yeah, I can do that. I mean, I've lived a very strange and peculiar life with a very strange and peculiar existence. I have plenty of stories of insanity and violence and tons of stories that I cannot even tell you on here. I did not get to be the incredible physical specimen that I am to this day. Just by sheer luck, things happened. I did not get to be the goofy son of a bitch that I am because people didn't kick me in the head because I didn't get beat up. You know, because I didn't go through all the things that I went through. And yeah, I have memories in my head that, you know, Larry King said that all we really have and really are is a memory. And like, that's kind of an alarming thought because like, I forgot about the oatmeal head guy. I just would call him the oatmeal head guy because I felt like he had oatmeal in his head for brains. But he was the 6'8" guy that I met in a psych unit that had the rope ligature around his neck from a failed attempt at hanging himself. And then he had sideways scars on his wrist from an attempt, another botched suicide. And then he took a handgun and put it right here. And I guess how would you do that? Pull it with your thumb. And tried to shoot himself in the heart and missed. And then that bullet scar was a big old bullet scar, man. It wasn't no, he didn't shoot himself with a 22. I don't remember what he said he shot himself with. But he opened up his hospital gown and showed it to me. And I'm a 17-year-old kid. And I'm looking at this stuff. And like, this is one of the least, this is like not even the top 5 scariest human being in this place. And I'm 17 years old. Because they used to, you know, they didn't have a clue, you know. I wrote, I think in my one novel, I wrote at that point, they weren't too far from throwing crazy people down wells to scare the crazy out of them, because they had all these wacky theories about how to deal with the mentally ill. And you know, the movie The Wolf Man with Benicio del Toro, he's in like an insane asylum and they're like dumping him in freezing cold water to shock the crazy out of him and stuff like that. I don't know if you saw that movie, but yeah, I felt that way, you know. And now my brother that killed himself, he was in Maslin State mental hospital in the 70s. And oh, I'm getting a phone call. This might be my caseworker, so I gotta go. Sorry about the abbreviated video. Bye-bye. Whew. Sorry about that. I got my phone and it was just a creditor. Somebody, I don't know who. It's a weird phone call I get where it just says beep, 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 beep. I get the feeling it's just like a creditor harassing me. I was talking about Benicio del Toro and Wolfman, and hearing us standing upstairs a bit now. Just quiet little pitter patters. That's why I don't like to be out here. It gets on my nerves. I was trying to explain to my brother, like, there's a difference when it's like, if you ever have you ever gone to like a concert where like you can feel the music, like you just don't hear it, but you can feel it. It's kind of like that with the I call it vibratory impact tremors. But it's kind of like that. That's why it gets on my nerves. If it's just noise, it's one thing. But it's like it's so profound that it gets into your being somehow. It just goes in through your ear and just you can almost feel yourself shaking. Yeah, it's being a little creative there with description and language. And hell, if you're going to be crazy, you might as well take advantage of it somehow. But yeah, I can splice this together now with Muvavi, so I can. So it's all good. Before when I had a phone call that interrupted me, I'd have to do like a part one and a part two to it. I guess I got the phone here. I can just turn the ringer all the way. The ringer is all the way off. The phone rings at the phone and at the base. Boy, aren't I fascinating today? I would much rather listen to my other book. I'm thinking about the next book that I would work on if I would want to try A Day No Pigs Would Die, or if I want to keep slogging through Eric Fromm's Escape from Freedom, which is an educational type of book. I also got I got other books I can do, like a bunch of them. But I can't do voices, man. That's like a very serious drawback. Another thing about doing voices is you have to be consistent with the voice. You have to keep the voice the same. Like there's a sick person in the book in the book that I did, where suddenly he becomes well. You know what I mean? I'm like, the guy will be saying like, "I thank you for being here. It's a comfort to have you here now." And he starts getting his voice back. It's like, I'm terrible at that, so maybe I should read to stick to reading textbooks. Luckily for me, sorry about that, itchy nose. Luckily for me, like there's not much dialogue, or there's not much spoken dialogue in The Last Algonquin, so it's kind of a perfect book for me to read. And yeah, I was listening to parts of it. I was like, yeah, I did pretty good. I did pretty good. I did better than I expected. The microphone helped. I wish people wouldn't put corrupt files on the internet with viruses in them. That, I'm going to do that later on. And probably the first part of it is redo it. Not reread it. I won't have to reread it. But redo the pictures part of it where they disappear. Because what you can do with that is you can detach the audio and you can delete either the audio or the video. So the video is the part with the corruption in it. So I'll just detach the video out altogether, leave the audio, and then I'll put new video in. And play Russian, or not Russian roulette, but play, it's like walking through a minefield when you're getting pictures and stuff off the internet. It's like once I got a bad case of malware on my computer, because there's a lost film called London After Midnight that it doesn't exist anymore as far as anyone knows, because the only copy of it got burned up in a fire at Universal Studios. So it stars Lon Chaney, and I will find a picture for it, and I will put it like right here. I'll see if I can do that with the Muvavi program. And you can't tell if he's a vampire or just a weird guy in a top hat, but it's like Lon Chaney Sr., and it's called London After Midnight. But it's considered a lost film. In other words, it existed once, it don't exist anymore, because they had like a master copy, and all the copies of it got burned up. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. At least interesting to me. But then I like stuff like that, little bits of out of the way knowledge, obscure things like that. Um, so I don't know yet. My situation is I still have cleaning to do. My legs hurt so bad just from Saturday and from falling down and like walking around here, like telling my brother like what he needed to do or what to do, and I stayed mostly out of his way. But you know, you still have to tell people where to put your stuff and whatever. But my legs hurt Sunday and Monday so bad that I was like, I actually took drugs to pass out that one day because the leg was just so painful. It's like, I'm done. So I took 400 milligrams of non-narcotic gabapentin, and I mixed it with 20 milligrams of Valium because I couldn't handle the pain no more. It was just too excruciatingly painful. So I kind of got to take it easy for a while, and I haven't taken any medication this morning. I know I seem dopey and stuff, but it's probably just a holdover from yesterday. But I haven't taken any pills or anything this morning, and I got up early this morning. It is a shade before noon right now, and I've been up since 6 o'clock. So yeah, my pain level is getting a little bit back to normal, but like it'll be like I said, like when I was walking around the Cleveland Clinic, I was feeling it for 2 days after that, and I was lifting stuff and doing other stuff I shouldn't do. It's hard for a dude, especially someone that was raised like me, to watch other people work and not work alongside them, because I think I mentioned this before, but I love physical labor, shoveling snow. I mean, brainless type shit where you don't have to think. Shoveling snow, chopping down trees, cutting limbs, anything where you're just using your body, and digging holes, gardening, which is very surprisingly hard to do because you have to pull weeds all the time. But anything that's like physical labor, like I went out there that one. This was a couple of summers ago, of course. But I went out there, man, and I had pruning shears and all kind of shit. And I cleared out a big patch of brush, and it turned out to be pointless labor because um, I forget what those people. Oh, when they were doing the roofing. They brought a brush hog or something back there, and they cleaned all that brush out. You know, I had just busted my ass cutting down most of it, and they just took like some kind of, I don't know what you would call it. I just said brush hog. I don't even know what a brush hog is. Probably some remnant from my childhood. But they cleared out all that shit, and they cut it all down. They felt like they had to, or whatever, to do the roofing job. But that was a couple years ago. I couldn't do that now. I can't hardly walk across my floor now. I just didn't feel like it today. But today I'll start tomorrow making the phone calls. But I'm not doing. I just don't feel like it today. I mean, I gotta call Tri-County Orthopedics and then do what my doctor suggested and talk to them about getting medical records sent to this Dr. Scarcella guy. And I talked to my landlord. He's still free this week. I texted him, and I could probably get a ride into Altman Radiology, but that's just more walking on my bad legs. So, and I don't know if I'm ready to handle being pushed around in a wheelchair. I mean, I've had that experience within the last couple of months, where I had the guy that I got all the resentment over, the boat guy, actually was pushing me in a wheelchair when I had my bone scan. I'm not ready really to handle that, I don't think I can handle that type of I can't handle the wheelchair existence. I'm not built for that. So that's when the hundreds of pills in that cupboard are going to come into play if it gets to that. Because I'm not being taken care of, and I'm not doing a wheelchair. It's not me. It's like you know, I got, I've already talked to my brother about that, but you know, people have a tendency just to think that people are blowing smoke. Even people that have known me my whole life and know how dead serious I am about everything and how serious my word is, you know, that they still don't believe you. It always cracks me up. They're just so used to dealing with people that just run their mouths about they're going to do this and they're going to do that. It's like a lot of the only thing that holds me back ever from keeping my word is like physical limitations. But there ain't no physical limitations to taking about 200 pills and washing them down. I don't like alcohol, but so I don't know. But there's no. Hopefully, it won't come to that. But I have a really hard time getting the medical treatment I need. So right now, man, I'm just a danger walking around. You know, I can still walk and the nerves still work and stuff. But the problem is like I got a CRPS leg, don't work, don't have any calf muscle, and I got a leg where I got something in my knee that's causing me so much pain I can't really feel where it's at. So that's why I'm falling and stuff. It's because I got a CRPS leg and I got a good leg that's a bad leg now because there's too much pain in it for me to feel what's going on with it. It's just pain. So, you know, it's my stronger leg. Plus, it's also CRPS affected, but the other one is like really, the left one is really CRPS affected, and the other leg is only like partially or lightly affected compared to the other leg. To the point where when I had the EMG, they were like, ordinarily we would do an EMG on both of your legs to make a comparison. That's where they stick the needle in and they shock your nerves and stimulate your nerves. But they said your left leg is so heavily affected that you know it's pointless. It's apples and oranges. If I had a better brain day going on, I would make some reference to the scientific process and variables and controls. But I'm not having a good brain day, and I am not in a good mood uh, due to not just bending my fingernail back, which I'm going to have to trim or something, but due to this looming threat by this government bureaucracy thing, and um, roaches, which I bought some roach motels, which are surprisingly effective on them things. And I got some agave nectar. I took some agave nectar, which is 1.5 times sweeter than sugar. I think they operate by pheromones. Like they think there's other roaches in there that fuck or something. But I'm going to put a agave nectar in an eye dropper to sweeten up those roach traps. But, you know, the landlord was like, do you want me to come pay to have somebody to come in here and spray poison in your apartment? I'm like, no, I don't react well to poison. I used to hate that when I lived at this other place. The guy would come in there and spray poison. It's like, yeah, you're poisoning me right along with the roaches, man. You know, and it's like, I don't know why people trust poison so much. It's poison. You're made out of the same carbon. You're the same carbon-based life forms as you're trying to kill. Why do you think you're immune to poisons or the effects of poison? Why, you know, I don't want to be exposed to that stuff. But yeah. So I don't know if I have anything else interesting to talk about, or I can make up something interesting to talk about. I'm just kind of like sitting here waiting because they got till 1 o'clock. It's about 12. It's about noon right now. So I know I didn't miss them this time. I know I talked to the lady, and she said we'll schedule it for tomorrow, and they always drop shit off between. They have a window of 11 and 1. the Meals on Wheels people. I just get frozen meals because occasionally they'll give me a hot meal because somebody else won't not answer their door, and they gotta, because you can order like hot meals, and I'm like, if you want a hot meal, I got an extra meal, and I'm like, yeah. They gave me this stuff the last time. I couldn't figure out what the hell it was or what it was supposed to be. I took a couple of bites of it, and I'm like, I don't even know what this is. Then it had some kind of weird, like, dried up apricot things. I don't even know what the hell those were, fruit-wise, but I ate them because they were fruit, and they looked like, oh, that'd be good fiber anyway. I'm like, I don't know what I'm eating. That was a horrible one. But I got one that was burritos, man. That was excellent, man. It had, like, a little container of lettuce and tomatoes, and it had everything I needed but sour cream to, you know, it had like to make some very tasty burritos. I'm a big fan of sour cream. Somebody just come in the door. Nope, somebody just left the door. So I don't know who that is. One of the 8 people that live up there. I don't know who that was, taking out some garbage. Hopefully my microphone, I'm speaking in hushed tones. Hopefully the microphone on the computer is picking it up. I don't have my Blue Yeti, because that's of course mounted in the bedroom. And yeah, I still feel like I spend too much time on the internet and make too many videos. But yeah, I stayed up all night, making sure I got that book out. Monday morning. I don't even know what day it is. If it's Monday or it's Tuesday. It's got to be Tuesday. It's got to be Tuesday. So I don't even know, man. That's my That's how bad my schedule is messed up. I don't even know what day it is. I know I could probably use some tea or something. But yeah, once my sleep gets disrupted, like that's why I was like, what the fuck do you want when I answered the phone? Is because I knew, I was angry because I knew they were going to disrupt my sleep pattern. And when you got chronic pain, your sleep pattern is your god, because without, your body getting in that rhythm, you ain't gently passing out. It's like I'm not gently drifting off into the land of Nod. If you have CRPS, it doesn't work that way. And I don't like sleeping pills. I mean, I had one that began with the M that I don't remember the name of. That was effective, but made me feel like just plain evil, mean in the morning. And then I have Doxepin, which is my suicide pill, and then spilled the beans now about what that shit is. Great. I'm not going to edit it out though. So, I'm sure there's like the Hemlock Society or whatever has it on their webpage or whatever, but Doxepin is a sleeping pill, and I have it in small dose. I have it in sleeping pill doses, but I used to take it in 25 milligram capsules. Shit would, it would make me disappear. I mean, I would like close my eyes and be asleep, and it would be midnight, and then I would wake up at 1 o'clock in the afternoon the next day, sleep 13 hours, and wake up with my bladder busting and not have any dreams. It just like wipe me the fuck out. But that was it. That was supposed to be that was at like 25 milligrams. These are 10 milligram pills, but I got like 10 bottles of them at least. I don't know how many bottles of them I got. I just got a new one. But I don't take them because they don't, I wake up in the morning and I'm just still like dragging and sleepy from them. And I don't like that. And they're not addictive, because I was able to quit them. They don't seem to have addictive. They're not considered addictive either. but they're not addictive. They just don't wear off. It's like, wear the fuck off, you know. I don't want to be sleepy for 14 to 17 hours. You know, that's what they do, and they work. But I don't like sleeping pills. But yeah, that's my exit strategy pill, which I don't take. But you know, it's not like somebody's gonna. It's not like I'm being irresponsible. It's like somebody's gonna rush out and grab these pills. It's like there's a million pills that you can take to kill yourself. And I think there's all. Maybe I'm giving people bad information about the Hemlock Society. There's like a whole society devoted to it. But I mean, you can just the internet. You can look up suicide and find out like the easiest way to do it. But you know, I don't like the whole idea of taking pills because I feel like I could botch that, and I feel like shooting yourself is the way to go. And it wouldn't be like this, like Mr. Oatmeal Head. Because I was talking about Oatmeal Head, like that when you meet somebody like that, you don't ever forget them. I can't remember one word that that dude said, except for he said, "You can't take life so seriously." And the reason, of course, that I remember that is because it's coming from somebody with a hang 'em high scars on their wrists, and a bullet hole scar about that big on their chest, telling me that I can't take life so seriously. I was a big dude, man. I'm talking 6'8", 350. Big dude, you know. He was bigger than my relative that played pro football. I was thinking about that, you know, my relative that played pro football, but he had an attitude problem because, you know, of the evil blood coursing through his veins. Um, but I was thinking about like the Duffy boys, and I don't think I mentioned their names before, but they both played pro football, Patrick and Roger Duffy, and they come into the they went to St. Joan of Arc. Oh, here's my wheels, Meals on Wheels, and people right here. So I guess I got to throw a shirt on and get my food and bid thee adieu. And I'll talk about the Duffy boys sometime in the near future. But those were some big kids. 7th grade, 6'3", 200 pounds in the 7th grade. So they were destined to play offensive line, defensive line in the NFL. But bye-bye. I keep forgetting I got that Movavi program so I can just splice these things together. But they shorted me a couple of boxes on my Meals on Wheels thing, but I wasn't complaining. You know, where's my other couple boxes of free food? What the hell's wrong with you people? But they might circle back around. That happened before. They're like, oh, we forgot. We got a couple of more boxes. Because I get 2 big boxes and like 2 small boxes. But they just gave me the big boxes and not the small boxes. But anyways, when I was interrupted by my food shorting, I was talking about the Duffy brothers. The Duffy brothers went to school with me in St. Joan of Arc grade school, Catholic school. It goes from grades 1 to 8, and then they went with me in Central Catholic, but I was only in Central Catholic for a very short time. But the funny part is like they didn't win. Those guys were like NFL football players. They had NFL football players playing, future NFL football players playing on a high school team, but they didn't win the state championship. But then after they left, they won the state championship, which is a fact I've always found interesting. And they were twins, Patrick and Roger Duffy. They were twins. They didn't look exactly alike to me, but they would do the twins thing where, like, you know, they'd switch classes and people wouldn't notice. But, you know, the one guy was so mean and the one guy was so nice because Roger It was like in a movie where they have the evil twin. Roger was the evil twin. Like he would like beat kids up for no reason, and Patrick was the nice guy, like a real super nice guy. But the Roger was the guy you didn't want to fuck with. You didn't want to fuck with either of them because, like I said, they were 6'3" and over 200 pounds when they were like in the seventh grade when they came to St. Joan of Arc. So like we were like normal sized people, you know. You're talking about what years are we talking about? Somewhere between 78 and 81. So those are big kids. Those are probably big kids nowadays, but they make bigger people nowadays. But here's something that's funny is I had my little intermission. I got my little baggie. Sorry about the noise. That's probably too close to the microphone because I couldn't carry all the shit that I needed to carry in here. I needed the phone. I just don't feel. I'm just tired. I don't feel good today. But I got like a couple of good muffins and stuff in here that I'm going to eat once I get off the camera. But anyways, I looked up, because I was thinking about like I knew a lot of people that made it to NFL football, if you think about it, because the Duffy boys, they both made it to NFL level football. And they're all linemen, all these people are, you know. And like, my cousin was in the running for the Outland Trophy. He was either second, I don't think he won it. I think he was like second or third as far as like the voting for the Outland Trophy, which goes to the outstanding lineman in the country for, you know, outstanding offensive lineman. So that's more information about him that could help you track me down and find out my real name. But it just cracked me up, you know. It's because I'm always talking about what a bad family that I come from as far as like attitude, violence, and all that stuff. And I look up his name because I was like, I wonder if he won the Outland Trophy. The the first thing I see, and it's actually a video on YouTube, but I'm not going to give you the link to it. Uh, but it's like, because for whatever reason, I feel like guarding my last name. But it's like, his first name's Kirk. Kirk withheld, charged with assaulting Delaware County deputy. That's the first thing I read about this guy. And I was like, yeah, that is consistent with that side of the family. And there was other articles, like, you know, there was other blurbs in there about stuff that he did, and there was pictures of him, and I guess he's looking pretty hard nowadays, you know, because he went from Mr. Big Shot to, you know, maybe that was his whole identity, was being a football player, or maybe he was abusing steroids to get that big, but he was a giant, you know, like, giant dude, like 325. He had ridiculous speed, like, for somebody that size. Like, I'm talking like 4'7" for an offensive lineman, something insane like that. But I remember watching him, and offensive linemen don't ever get to tackle people unless there's an interception or a fumble or something like that, and the defense gets it. So his quarterback throws the interception. This poor dude is running the ball back along the sidelines, and Kirk gets a running start at this guy at 320. He weighs 325 now, and hits this guy, and he's like a safety or a cornerback or something. I'll never forget it. He hit the guy so hard on the sideline, running. He can run a 4.7, and knocked him into the Gatorade. Like, knocked him so far back that he hit into the Gatorade and exploded the Gatorade buckets all over the place. It was just brutal. But that just cracks me up. Like, the first thing I'm like, I just wanted to know if he, like, how he finished in the Outland Trophy voting, and it's like, he assaulted a cop. Okay, it's the first thing I read about him. I'm like, yeah, that sounds like the side of the family with the people beating people with baseball bats and the serial killers and the rest of the, you know, bad people that I always talk about on here. But I think I'm about played out as far as talking anyway. I'll just splice all this in Muvavi. And so whoever gave me like the downvote on my book before it even got started, it's like I'll take it as a compliment because I mean maybe they'd rather hear me chatter, or either that or they're racist against Native Americans, one or the other. You know, it's like doggone Native Americans. What did John Wayne say about them? They was greedy. It was greedy wanting all that land for themselves. But no, I just take that. I'll take that as a compliment that somebody downvoted my book like instantly because I figure like they're expecting to hear me tell my silly little stories and talk about my absurd, ridiculous life here in this little suburban prison that I live in. But no, that's a horrible way to start out today, is to go out to get your morning coffee and have to kill a roach. You know, I did talk to my landlord, and I told him some stuff. I told him a lot of stuff, like, about what's going on up there. I said that I've been investigating. I heard from three different sources, and they all come up with the same number. And I'm like, I didn't ask him no questions because he's like really guarded about, like, I was like, you already answered this question for me once before. Why are you guarding the information now? But he forgot that I answered it. Same way he forgot that I actually played him a video with audio of Stampy doing her thing. And I'm like, this is what it sounds like down here. So he was like, what's wrong with Michelle? And I'm like, oh, you mean Stampy? In text. It's like, he talked about that at length. How it's a weird situation. Like, I can't really complain about somebody that maybe has a disability that makes them walk like an elephant, because she can't. She's not much more than 200 pounds. It's like, and there's been fat people up there. There was a guy up there that weighed well over 300 pounds, which sounded like a dainty little ballerina compared to her. So, it's probably some kind of medical thing. Or something like that. So we talked. I was like, I don't know if I can live here with that. I was like, I was in the height of my Xanax withdrawal. I think I made this call like in late September or early October, and I'm like, I was. That's when I started to updose. I believe that's when I started updosing on. Did I say volume? I meant Xanax. That's when I started updosing on Xanax really badly, and like, October was my worst month. But I was like, I don't know if I can live here with that. I'm like, I know it sounds crazy, and I know there's like nothing you really can do about it if it's a disability. Not that I was expecting him to do anything about it, but I just needed to vent. And I'll try to explain to him. I mean, it sounds like a brontosaurus is loose upstairs. I mean, these are impact tremors I'm hearing. Do you remember the scene in Jurassic Park with the water and the concentric circles? That's what it sounds like in here, and I don't know if I can handle it, you know. And then he's like, "What's wrong with her?" It's like, I just want to shoot him. Um, and then he's doing the nice guy routine, even over the text and stuff like that. It's like, you know, dude, actions speak louder than words. You know, I don't know. Try not to be. I'm not going to be confronting the dude until I got some other place to go, because I don't want no animosity between me and the landlord. That's just stupid to create animosity. Like, um, it's just empty threats, but the guy in the wheelchair is always threatening to put in his 30 days notice. That's how he gets things done. Or like, He's like, I always talk back to Gerald and stuff like that. And then Gerald just refers to him as high maintenance. You know, you can't have any effect on Gerald. You know, and nothing has any real effect on him. I don't think, except for maybe a punch in the face might have an effect on him. I know I got evil with the landlord before he bought the place. And I'm sure I told you this before, but this dude was talking some serious shit that he was managing the place. He wasn't even like a landlord. He was like a managing the place for somebody that inherited it. It was just a matter of time until they were going to put it up for auction. But he was my ipso de facto landlord. So, he was like the worst, man. He let people in my house without telling me there was going to be people in my house. And like, I wake up and I'm sitting there barely awake hearing strangers walking around in my house. And I'm in my bedroom and I'm like scared, I'm like I'm looking around for weapons and I'm like, I don't have no weapons in here. I mean, who are these people walking around in my house? And then they start talking about the plumbing. And I'm like, well, if they're here to do me harm or to rob me, they're probably not going to be talking about plumbing issues. So it probably means that the asshole that is managing this building just let him in here and didn't tell me about it. Just like gave him a key and let him in here and didn't tell me about it. And I happened to be. They didn't knock, though. Oh, they didn't knock. That was the weird part of it to me. So I called him and I was like, what the hell, man? And I was pissed off. And he's like, well, they were supposed to call you and tell you that they were coming. And I'm thinking to myself, that's not how that works. That's your job. It's your property. You're just full of shit. You cokehead motherfucker is what I'm thinking. But then I met the guy in person, and there was no garbage service here for like weeks. And then he was talking to me, and then I lost my temper, and I gave him like a look. Just a look, mind you. And he took a step back away from me out of my reach. Because I just gave him a look and I had a short little brief fantasy about, I wonder how far I can push my fist through his forehead. And he just like instinctively like stepped away from me and he's like, oh, it's time to go now. So I don't know what my face looked like, but I laughed about it later. I was like, maybe he's a telepath, because that's what I was thinking. I was thinking, man, I'd like to punch him right in the fucking middle of his forehead to see if I could like see how far my fist would go through his forehead. Something like insane like that I was thinking. And he just like saw that look on my face and he took a step back and excused himself and just fucking left. But he was giving me some kind of shit about something. And I was complaining about not having any garbage service for like weeks. I said, well, I gotta carry the garbage into the basement. It's like, and he said some smart ass comment or something like that about it, and I got like evil. And that was funny. That guy was a dick though. And the guy that I met, the guy that drove me up there to meet him, he was like, I think that dude's a cokehead or something, man. He don't seem right. There's something wrong with him. But yeah, I'm like, I called him up like after those plumbers were walking around up here. I was like, don't you know that's how people get shot? And he was like, I didn't talk for like I don't know how long, but I didn't talk. After he laughed, like, he was like, like a fake laughter. I didn't say a word, and I made him talk, you know, let him know that's not a joke. I said, that's how you get people killed. You could have got them guys killed, you know, by doing that, by not calling them and letting them know, and letting who's ever in the house know that there's going to be people with a pass key coming in their house. Because I'm sitting in my bedroom in my freaking boxers listening to strangers walking around my house talking. It's like, so I just left him a long, uncomfortable silence there. And then I don't remember what he said, but I wasn't saying shit because I wanted him to know that I was dead serious. It's like you almost got them guys killed, you know. And so he wouldn't do that again if he ever was in that situation again. I didn't tell him that I don't have a handgun. I don't keep a handgun because there's reasons why I don't keep a handgun. But yeah, I don't know. If I splice all this together, I imagine it's going to be at least an hour. So I think that's enough talking. Those are old stories anyway. I've had to told those stories before. That's the problem with old men. It's like, the song Glory Days by Bruce Springsteen. When time goes by and leaves you with nothing, mister, but the same old boring stories of glory days. Spun in young girls' eyes, glory days. Time rolls by and leaves you with nothing but the same old boring stories. My voice is really gone now. I couldn't even attempt to sing. But yeah, I think about that line sometimes from there. And yeah, I try not to be repetitious and repeat myself, but I can't always keep track of what I've said or what I haven't said on here. And I don't know my audience, so I don't know how long you people have been following. Whoever's listening to this, I don't know how long you have been following me, so I don't know if you've ever heard any of this stuff before. But I had to have talked about the plumber thing before. And, I got on the phone, like, and just reamed that dude out on the phone, and I told him that's how you get people shot. He's like, ha 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 ha, with a fake laugh. And I held dead radio silence, man. And I made him think of something to say. I didn't it's not a joke. It's not funny because I was a different type of person. If I did have a gun, I would have come out with it, holding it, pointing at people that morning. Now, whether I would have shot anybody, I don't know. But you hear two guys walking around in your house, and you're just waking up, and you're in your boxers. That is why people have guns in their houses. So, anyways, that's enough nonsense out of me. I'm gonna eat me some muffins. I think I got some water back there, like right back there. That's relatively fresh to drink with it. And I guess I gotta rest up for another day before my legs get back to normal. And today is the 29th. I have till the 2nd. Was that 3 days? Or is today the 30th? I don't even know what day it is. I don't sleep right anymore. So that helps me lose track of days. I have to actually check a calendar to see what day it is. That's not a good sign. I've been making a lot of these videos in the middle of the night, but it's like, 12:44 right now. Anyways, hopefully that wasn't boring, and hopefully I won't get no thumbs down for people that wanted to hear books. That one was just for me. I'm self-indulgent, I admit it. Alrighty, we'll talk to you next time.